Hey everybody, welcome to Neurodivergent Gaming. I'm your host, Tailgate Coolie Cat Meow, and you know what we got going on over here? High scores and low dopamine. Let's go! Alright, continuing. Another 10 by 10 grid. We see the number 10 here. We see the number 9 here, and we would usually have overlap, but because they gave us that X, we know it won't fit there, leaving only 9 left in that column. This column has a 6. There's only one space it can fit. And let's see what else we got. We can mark a couple of things out. This first number is a 3 and it won't fit there. This first number is a 2 and it won't fit there. So we can go ahead and mark that out. For this column here, we have a 7, so we can count it and see that's where our overlap is. For this row, we know where our 8 starts. It can't go any further right, so it has to come this way, and that fills it up. And then for this bottom row, we can see that our number starts here. It can't go further right, so that makes 6. Now we have an edge. This bottom number is 2, this bottom number is 4, and this bottom number is 2. So we can put an X on top of those. That kind of gives us an edge over here. We know where that 3 starts, and we know where that 2 starts. This first number is a 3, and there's only one space that 3 can fit. And this first number is a 3. There's only one space that 3 can fit. And we can look at this column and see this other group of numbers, and this column needs to be a 2. So that'll be filled in, but that one won't. In this column, the other number that we have to get besides our 2 down here is a 3. And it can fit here, but not here. So we know that's where our 3 goes. In this column, we have a 2 and then a 1, and that's exactly what we have left. And that finishes a snake picture. Okay, continuing, we have another 10 by 10. The first thing I saw was the 6 and 3. That adds up to 9, and if you have one more for that extra space, we know there's only one way a 6 and a 3 can fit, and that gives us an edge. So we'll count these bottom numbers up. That's 6 and 7 and 1 and 8 and 7, and it put the X's on the rest, so we can see those are 1s. We put an X on top of these, and then we can look, because we have this edge, we can start counting from here, and our 7 goes out to there, and our 8 goes out to there, and this 8 goes out to there, and this 8 will go all the way over there. Now we can see where these numbers start, these next numbers, because they can't go down, so they have to go up. The number in this column is a 5, and the number remaining in this column is a 5. This one is a 4, and that's how many we've got, so we'll just throw an X on top of that. And then this number is a 6, it'll go all the way to the top. This number is a 3, it goes to there. In this row, we have a 3, we can't go any further right, so it has to go there. In this row, we have a 5, so it'll fill all that up. And then this row just leaves 2, and that looks like a kangaroo, camel, rabbit, camel. No. Dromedary. I was just going to keep saying that word incorrectly. That's what I'm going to do. Our next puzzle is another 10 by 10. I see a 10 here. This 9 here is going to give us a lot of overlap. I'm going to switch to my X. A 5 won't fit here, and a 5 won't fit here. A 4 is not going to fit there, and a 7 won't fit here. A 5 isn't going to fit there, and a 4 isn't going to fit there. And I think that's the only thing I get to mark out just right away that I can see. Here's a 9. Since we have that one space in the bottom taken up, we know it has to fit there. And our 3 here is going to give us some overlap. That'll overlap these two if we count from the sides. Then we can do these bottom numbers, a 2 and a 6, because we know where they start. The first number here is a 2, and it won't go right, so it has to go left. This adds up to 10, because we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then a space for the 9 and a space for the 10. Therefore, a 2, 4, 2 can only fit one way on a 10 row. And we're going to have some overlap here. This 5, there's exactly 5 spaces left. And this 4 will overlap here, and this 5 will overlap here. This 5, there's only 5 spaces left in that row, so that fills that up. And we have this top edge done, so we can fill in these numbers. That one is a 1, so we're going to go ahead and mark it off. And this one is a 7, followed by a 1, and there's only 1 space left, so we'll go ahead and finish that. And then this one is a 5, so that finishes that column. This column has a 7 in it, so only 1 number. Let's connect that up. This column has a 3 and then a 2. That 2's done. We need to connect those for the 3. And then back to this row, that number is a 4, so it'll reach out to here, and this side it'll reach out to there. In this column, our next number is a 5, and we can see it starts here. It'll go all the way down to there. And then in this row, our first number here is a 4, so let's fill that out, and that 3 was already done. And then back to this column, we need 4, and this column we need 5, and this column we need 7. That's a car, a buggy. Alright, continuing, another 10 by 10 grid. I see a 10 here. I see a couple of 9s. That's going to give us some overlap. I see an 8. That'll give us some overlap as well. These numbers up here, the first one is a 1 for both of these, so we can't have anything there. And then for this one, the last number is a 2. It has to include this square, so it can only reach this high, and we can mark that out. And for this next row here, that bottom number is a 5. If it starts from the bottom, it's only going to reach to there, and if it starts from here, it can only reach to there. So we're going to put an X here. It won't be able to get that high. Now we can look here at this row. We have a 5 and then a 3. Well, they're backed up against these spaces, so we know that that 5 starts here and goes left, and that 3 starts here and goes right. So we can finish that row. For this one, we have a 5 and a 4. We know that that plus the space equals 10. There's only one way a 5 and 4 fits on a 10 grid. And let's look at this column. That's 7. We just have one number, so we'll connect all of these, and that makes 7. Now we have an edge. This number is a 1. This number is a 1. This number is a 2. So then I'll grab my X's, and I'll put X's after those. That'll give us some information about this column. We have a 2, 1, 2. We start from the bottom. There's our 2. There's our 1. And we can see where that other 2 starts. That finishes out that column. And then we can see for this row where our 8 starts, meaning it'll go all the way over here. For this column, we have a 4, 1, 2. If we tried to connect these, that would make 5. So we know this is part of our first number, and this is part of the second number. That second number is a 1, so we'll block it off completely on both sides, and then that gives us 4 remaining here. We'll have a 2 down here, and we've already got the overlap done. We don't know which way it's going to go, though, so we'll leave it like that. For this row, we have a 1, a 3, and a 3. Well, there's our 1. Here's a space of 3 that's started already, and then the next 3 will fit here. That finishes that column out for us because it was a 2, 1, 1. Here we have a 2 and a 2, so if we start from the right, we can see that first number starts here, 1, 2, and then that second number has to be somewhere in here. It'll overlap here if we count from both sides. Now we have an edge. We know that that 6 has to start here, so that makes 6. That last number is a 2. We've already got the overlap done for that. Now let's look at this row, a 1, 3, 1. Well, there's a 1. And then a space for 3 here, and then a 1. So that finishes that, which we can look at this column now, a 6 and a 2. We can see that 6 won't go down, it has to go up, and then there's only one space for that 2, it has to go down. That lets us know where this 5 starts in this row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we can finish this row, a 2, a 1, and a 3. That's a boat. That's a waterfall. All right, keeping on, keeping on. another 10 by 10. I'm really hoping for a different amount. If it's a 15 by 15, I think that would be great. I saw those two 10s, so I marked those off. This 7 here, because they gave us X's, there's only one spot that's big enough to fit that 7. We can see these columns now. Those 5s can't go down anymore, so they have to go up, finishing those columns out. And then we have an edge, so we can count the last numbers in these rows. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now for this row, there's only 3 remaining, so I'll go ahead and fill that in. And then I'll put an X here and an X here to mark those, the end of those numbers. Now we can see that 5 starts here, and it's already counted out for us 5, and then just a 1 left in this bottom column, or in the bottom of this column. And then this bottom row here is 8, and there's only 8 spaces. So we know that whole thing's filled out. That gives us another edge, so we can count these bottom numbers. We know where they start. This bottom number starts here, 1, 2. This bottom number starts here, counting up to 7. This one counts up to 7 as well. And this one is 2 and 1, 2. Now we can do these next numbers in these columns because we can see where that next number starts. There's our 2, our 5 starts here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Our 4 starts here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this row just has a 2 remaining, and there's only 2 spaces left. So we'll fill that out. And that's a tree. A tree in the desert. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you feel like it. That's the hit. Catch you next time. Bye.